Okay, so I notice everyone's here. Um, okay, so everybody's here. Everybody's good. I can see people over there. Wonderful. Okay, so I just want to remind you of how things are going to work. So I need you to listen very carefully. Last time around, it was really complicated. It was very complicated. And it was very difficult for me to make sure that these details are taken care of and make sure things are clarified so that people can understand. Here's the deal. Let's make life a little bit simpler. Every single person is going to be going on the buses. Simple. See how much simpler that was? I didn't even come up with that. I did not even come up with that. Daniel came up with that. Wonderful. That is amazing. It is going to, be easier. Because then we don't have to put so much effort into this and that. So guess what? Every one of you will be going on buses. You will be stopping at, what time is it now? It's about 8:53. So at 12:30 is when all of you should be at that building that you were in last time. That's where you're going to be meeting. You'll get there. There'll be a ton of buses, more buses than there were last time. And then you'll take the time to get your stuff out. The people will be coming out, welcoming you again, probably. You'll be going in. You'll be checking in. Then you can do whatever the heck that you want to until 10 in the morning tomorrow. I hope that sounds good. I want to make something really, really clear. And I think I made this clear the last time. I'm going to make this clear again, because I don't know if everybody heard that. I guarantee you that not everybody heard what I said. So I'm going to say it really, really clearly. I'm going to say it so clearly that there will be no question what I said. So I want all of you to listen very, very carefully. Do not, read my lips. Do not, under any circumstance, come to my address. If you need a question, come to my address. Come to whatever the address is that I am at with my grandparents. Do not come to that address under any circumstance. Even if you forgot your computer, even if you forgot your phone, do not come to that address. Do not come to that address until 10 in the morning. And remember last time how I gave room for questions after all that Mars and Gemini words I just threw at all of you the last time. Then there was time where you got to ask questions. And I answered your questions. That's really exhausting for me, to have to answer all those questions and have to think of all those little details. It was really, really exhausting. And it almost felt like a waste of my time. Now, if that's the case, guess what? If it feels like a waste of my time, that's another reason where I may step off stage, and then Daniel, Susan, and Linda will just take over. They are aware that if I were to just leave all of a sudden, stop the video, if I have to do something, if I want to do something different, if I'm going too long and lunch is ready, or whatever the case may be, and I have to leave that meeting, which is in that living room in that house, Daniel, Susan, or Linda will come in and they will do their job and fill in for me. Because they know the announcements for this week, I know the announcements for the week. We've talked about it, we've chatted about it, we've collaborated. I really, really hope that this visit is not going to make me any less healthy or feel any less healthy than I'm feeling right now. Because the last time my voice tonal quality went way down and I had stuff in my throat, I barely got my words out. And it was kind of difficult to talk and kind of difficult to give that energy. I was really giving a lot of mental energy. And I was expending so much mental energy for all of you. And I really hope that you saw that and appreciated that. Because I don't think that I want to do the same thing again. I shouldn't have to. I really shouldn't have to. So that is why that's what's going to be happening. And I also want you to be aware of something before I get into, another thing. Before I spill the beans here with what I want to talk about. If I go in the living room with, my grandma or somebody else and get on the computer and want to watch a video, and Susan, Linda, and Daniel are talking to you, guess what's going to happen? You will just go outside in the front yard and yeah, that's another little detail. How embarrassing will that be? Guess what? Here's what will happen. The buses will be sitting at that address and waiting. Just sit. Okay, so tomorrow, sometime in the morning, 9:30, the buses will be coming and they will pick you up. They will take you to that address. Then you will get off the buses, go into the house, or maybe some of you, there may not be enough room for some of you, and you may have to stand outside and wait outside. Or get back on the bus, sit down, and wait, but those buses will be sitting there for the entirety of that Amenten meeting. Because I don't know what's going to happen. You may have to leave suddenly, and you may have to just stand out in that parking lot of that building that you're in, that that you'll be sleeping in. And then Susan, Linda, or Daniel will continue the Amenten meeting there. I hope that that's clear. Is that clear? I hope that you understood me correctly. You may have to leave, and I may not even tell you. Daniel, Susan, or Linda may not even tell you. When I go into the living room for let's just say an Amenten meeting is going on. Then I lose interest, but I still have to continue. Or, I make a plan that I want to show this person a video, or I want to show something. I will not. Okay, this is what I did last time. I sacrificed time that I could have spent with my family for all of you. I did. And it is so pathetic that I wanted to do that. It is unbelievable that I would want to do this rather than spend time with my family. I mean, that in and of itself is ridiculous. And that is me not drawing a clear boundary. I'm going to draw better boundaries. I may be in a mentioned meeting. Oh, now it's time. It's time to watch the video that you said that you would. Okay, well, then that's going to happen. We're going to sit down at the computer. Somebody will be coming in. One of my grandparents or somebody will be coming in, getting, sitting at the computer. I'm turning it on. I'm going to show them a video or something. And guess what's going to happen? When that happens, I'm not going to say it. You will just leave the room when that happens. I'm going to shut the door because I shouldn't have to. Do you need to get in here? Okay. So I'm going to shut the door because I don't need it open. So, an image media is going on. Then, all of a sudden, I want to set up a video at a certain time. And we end up sitting down at the computer in that living room, preparing to watch that video. And when I'm engaging and spending time with my family in that room with that situation, and you're all there, that is an absolute embarrassment. It is going to be really embarrassing if I am going into the living room, going to watch a video or sit down and have a conversation with somebody, with, a family member, and you are all standing there like deers in the headlights, wondering what to do and where to go. That will not be acceptable. So, if anything like that happens, you need to leave the room. You will not be standing around while I'm trying to enjoy time with my family. Recognize that you do not exist, and you are invisible, and you have no value to anyone there, including me. Recognize that. Recognize how meaningless you actually are. Recognize how offensive and rude and embarrassing and how wrong it would be if you're all there, not members of my family, sitting there, and you're taking up space and invading and ruining the time that I could be spending with my family. I really overdid it the last time. I think that I did. It went way too long. You were all standing there, exhausted. And I get that. The only benefit was, it's just fun for me because I'm the one talking and it's boring for you. I recognize that. And that's what I don't want to have happen again. So, I just want you to recognize that when something happens, then that means that you need to leave. Now, if somebody walks into the room just to check something or do something, then that's fine, you can stay there. But if I make plans and we come into the room and we sit down and start talking, or, we go to the computer and I want to show someone something, that is basically me telling you in disguise, leave and get out. Because that's time that I'm spending with my family. It may be unpredictable. You may be there expecting me to give the whole sermon of my Amenten meeting. You may be expecting that, I'm coming here and I'm going to hear all the announcements here in this place. that I may be giving the announcements, or Susan, Linda, or Daniel may be giving the announcements, and you'll get to hear it. You'll get to hear all of the announcements over there. It may be different. It may be different. I really, really don't know what it will be. I don't think that I'm going to purposely try and interrupt the meeting, but something could happen. Someone may say, "Oh, you've been in the living room a while. Can you stop this? This is going on a while." Then you will leave, and then you will just continue the meeting over in the parking lot, over at that building, over there. And if I tell you leave, and I have to explain to you, okay, well, it's time to leave, and then I have to explain to you what's going on, guess what? I shouldn't have to do that. Where I shouldn't have to expend that breath to you. So you should just know. Well, okay, so let's say I'm doing an Amenten meeting, and then it's time for lunch. You want to go outside? When are you going to do this? This is taking a while. All those kind of responses from another family member. And that's where I'm going to draw the boundary for this Amenten. And I'm going to say, you all need to leave. Susan, Linda, Daniel, you know what to do. All of you go. And it's going to probably be it. So I may explain to you exactly what's happening, but I may not explain to you clearly what will be going on, but you need to know ahead of time that if something like that happens, if something comes up, then you need to know already what's going to happen, so that I do not have to stand there trying to explain exactly what's going to be happening to you, and then you may be confused, and you may not be able to hear it, and it's unclear, and it's overwhelming, and it's all of a sudden. No. Not going to happen. So I may explain to you what's going on well if something like that comes up. I may not explain it very well. But either way, you have to know what's going on. If something like that happens, if we sit in front of the computer, or if I sit and start having a conversation with somebody, you all need to just leave. Silently leave. Just leave the house. Know what to do. Leave. And then just go back on the buses, and you'll go in the parking lot. It's not the end of the world if I'm done having that conversation or done watching that video, and then I feel like, oh, I just want to get back to this and get back to running my Amenten meeting. I cannot believe that I put the Amenten over what is legitimate and what is important, what matters, who matters to me. Haven't I already made it clear that none of you matter to me? I mean, you do, but then you don't. And that's what I need for you all to recognize. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. So, I really, really mean that. When I say that the conversation starts or something happens, I've already explained that before you again. I'm not going to re-explain it again. And then you'll just leave. I need you to be aware of what to do before it happens, so that tomorrow you're not confused, And I don't have to get mad or irritated at any one of you. You just know what to do, know where to go, something like that happens, and you do it. Period. It's going to be very difficult for me to enjoy time with my family. Number one, with all you here and with you talking, or one of you giving instruction, giving the weekly announcements. And it's going to be really difficult for all of you to understand and comprehend what's going on if I'm talking to a family member, or if I'm showing a video, or something else. And then you'll be confused, and then it'll be all for naught, and then you'll lose the important information that you need. So, last time I threw a lot of stuff at you. You probably didn't get all that important information, which I was trying to make clear to you, and I recognize that, it was overwhelming and it was a lot, and some of you did not get the information. That's what I don't want to have happen again. And that setting can be a little difficult sometimes. Not that I don't want you to be in that setting, because I want to do that. I want to make that an option. I want to do an Amenten meeting, in that setting. However, I do want to draw the line when I am overstepping boundaries and I am putting all of you and putting so much of my energy and time into all of you, where I am sacrificing time that I could be spending with my family. That is where I have to draw the line, and that is where I have to do my part in releasing my attachment to speaking to you and running my Amenten, and you have to take over, and you have to do it all. You all have to do what you have to do. And where you all just need to leave. I mean, you are welcome to that house, but if a boundary is overstepped, you're not welcome, you need to leave. You might as well be complete and utter strangers to me. Because I need for you to recognize that is who you are, unless you are invited by me over to that address. So if a boundary is overstepped, if somebody, again, says, oh, you've been in there a long time, let's have lunch. Or how about you get outside? You've been in the living room a long time doing a pretend thing. This is what this is. You all are not real. I want you to recognize that. And I need for you to recognize that. Or something else. So somebody says something. You've been in there a while, lunch is ready, can't you stop this? This is going on for a while. Grandma might want to use the living room. Anything like that, if you hear anything like that from, another family member, you need to leave immediately. Because I will be stopping the meeting. I will be probably saying, okay, you need to leave. Susan, Linda, Daniel, you need to, go. Whenever you hear somebody externally telling me something from another room, telling me something like that, you've been in here a while, etc., something along those lines, then all you need to leave, because that is where there is a boundary. That is that boundary. That is where, okay, I'm in a field, and I hit the line. And I've gone over that line. I don't want to go over that line again. So if you hear that from somebody else, externally to me, and they are kind of drawing that boundary for me to worry about what's actually legitimately important and valuable, and who is important and valuable, then you all need to know what to do, and you need to leave. I may tell you that you need to leave, Or I may not tell you. Either way, you need to know what to do and you need to leave. Go on the buses, go back to that building, stand in the parking lot, and you all will do your job and fill in for me and give all those announcements. So that's one way that that boundary could show up. Here's another way. Oh, I may be speaking and I may be going, oh, you know what, I'm tired of doing this. And I may leave the room. And Susan, Linda, and Daniel may take over. You know what? This is going to be a little bit contradictory. Contradictory, imperfection, 101. Guess what's going to happen? I don't think that I make a clear enough boundary. So let me just change something in what I'm saying. Okay, I'm going to say something a little bit different. Okay, so either I am going to be speaking in front of you and giving that Amenten meeting, giving the weekly announcements in that room, or I may walk out of the room, or somebody may come into the room for a reason of interacting and spending time with me, or that other boundary that I was just talking to you about, is somebody telling me get out of the living room, etc., etc. Hope that you understood what I just said, because I don't want to explain that and I don't want to repeat that again. I hope that that's clear. I really, really do. So either I am speaking to you directly in that living room, giving my weekly announcements, or you leave. Wait, okay. Back to what was before. So just forget about the contradiction. It may go a couple of different ways. You may come, I may give all the announcements for the entire meeting, I may leave the room, Susan, Linda, Daniel may take over and finish those announcements, finish the weekly announcements, and you'll still be in the living room at that address, or you will just leave and go on the buses, go back to that building, and then you'll stand in the parking lot, and then one of you, or all three of you, however you want to figure that out, will give the weekly announcements. So that's how it's going to be. I may be in another room. Susan, Linda, Daniel may give you the announcements, and you may be there. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit dicey. Yeah, this is where it's getting a little, yeah. So, yeah, I may be in another room. Susan, Linda, Daniel may be giving the announcements. You may be staying outside, standing outside there, in whatever room. And then Susan, Linda, Daniel might give the announcements. If I go into the living room and want to sit down and talk to a family member, then that's immediately we needed to leave the house. Now here's the other thing that I need to consider. It's going to look really, 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 really bad if people are just trying to stand behind other people, just trying to see through the crowd of people, trying to hear what's being said. It may be an intimate time. Guess what? let's just say that I go into that. Okay, so you enter the house, you go into the house, and there's a room with chairs, with a music player, all those kind of things. And then you see the stairs, and then you see the kitchen, and then you see the restroom over there. That's the setup of the room when you enter that house. So, um, let me see here. What do I want? If I go into that room and spend time with family, then the people that are standing in that room, because there's not enough room in the living room, standing or perhaps sitting in that room, well, then you will have to leave. For those people in that room, not the people in the living room, but for the people in that room that you walk into, if I were to sit down with a family member, have a conversation, do something like that, then those people in that room that room that you see that you're in when you first walk into the house, for those of you that are standing or sitting in that room for the purpose of being there for an Amenten meeting, or for any of you there sitting or standing in that room, then you will have to leave. You will have to leave and go outside, get on a bus, stand, wait outside until everything is done. Actually, oh my gosh. Okay, okay. If there are some people that cannot fit inside that house or that address, or you are standing in that front room that you enter into while that Amenten meeting is going on, and I go in that room and spend time with a family member, then all of you, so either the people that can't fit in the house in general, can't fit, there's so many of you, not all of you may be able to fit that space, who knows. And then if you are in that front room and you're standing there whilst I'm trying to enjoy time with my family member, if you fall into one of those categories, I'm not going to repeat this again. If you fall into one of those categories, then you will need to leave and go on the bus and sit there and wait until everybody is done. That had better be